Kia ora, hello, my name is Sarita. I'm a writer from New Zealand, currently living in Canada. In today's video, I'm going to be doing a March wrap-up, and I also wanted to do my monthly reset for April, which is kind of like also quarter goals, but we digress. The structure for this video is going through my favorites and then going over some updates like my writing updates, and then finally going through my little spreadsheet that I have for my goals and working down from my yearly goals into quarter and how I'm going to work through them this month and the next few months. So yeah, if you would like to skip anything, feel free to look at the timestamps down below. Otherwise, let's get into it. Okay, so March favorites. We're going to start with reading. I did sweet F all of reading. I started Bride by Ellie Hazelwood. I haven't finished it yet. It's funny and spicy. I can't get over the way that paranormal romance has become way more mainstream. This is a separate discussion, but I've read so many paranormal romance books, like showing my age, like over 10 years ago. Kresley Cole books and like Suzanne Wright, like they just weren't in bookstores, and now these ones are. But anyway, with this one specifically, I'm having to drag myself through to the end of it. I like the premise, but I don't know what it is. Like, I'm enjoying it, but it's predictable. And maybe it's that paranormal romances are kind of predictable, or romances in general. But I feel like this, it's a bit too predictable. I was still enjoying it, but like, it wasn't wowing me. The next book in the series seems more up my alley in terms of like what I like in paranormal romance. So I'm gonna I will finish this, and I'll most likely read the next one, which I think is called like Mate or something. Oh my god. An avocado on my book. The next one I have started, and I'm just slowly reading through it because I am enjoying it. I started Death on the Red Sea, or The Antique Hunters Death on the Red Sea by C.L. Miller. I read the first one, really loved that book. So I've been reading this one when I have time or when I feel like reading, which hasn't been too often. I just love like the kookiness of this. It's the main character is a divorcee. I don't know how you say that word. She's obsessed with like antiques. She has like this like wild aunt. Her aunt is just like goals, right? Lives her own life. I can't think of a character. Her aunt is like the best character. Honestly, I'm just taking this one slow because I enjoy it and I don't want to finish it and then be like, wait. Do you know what I mean? So in this book, they get onto a cruise because they're trying to solve a murder mystery case that they think no one is solving in their little like county or something. And so there's a connection from that murder to the cruise that they go on. And so they're on this cruise, which she was originally invited onto, but then got like dropped off the list. And so she's kind of like, what's going on? And there's like all these little pieces and different characters, and so like it's a good murder mystery. Like, with that being said, I finished neither of those books. I have been reading so much fanfiction. I like fanfiction is just my happy place when I can't get into any of my like hobbies or things that I like to do or things that like give me satisfaction. Just like the things that make me happy, I will read fanfiction. And my current ship for March was Darcy and Bucky from the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I don't really want to go into more than that. It used to be a total like Darcy Lewis and Loki shipper, and I still am. Through that ship, I discovered Darcy Lewis and Bucky Barnes, and I was like, yes, he calls her a doll. Anyway, I can see it, I love it, and yep, that's all I'll say on there. Moving on. Okay, watching. I tried to get into another Korean show called My Demon, but I don't know. In February, I watched a lot and they were really, really good and I loved them, but I feel like I've maybe watched too much of that genre or whatever you want to call it, and now I'm just like, okay, let's do something else and I can come back to it later. So yeah, I've stopped watching it for now and I will come back to it later. I did finish an entire series. I started The Residence and I read it. I love a murder mystery. I honestly feel like there are not enough murder mystery shows that are like funny and less like drama-y, if that makes sense. I prefer like the funny, mysterious, like slightly thrilling, but more like the Agatha Christie or Sherlock Holmes type vibes versus the high stress situations. Do you know what I mean? I started The Residence. If I had enough time to do it, I would have binged the entire thing. But yeah, I just love it. Like, a murder mystery has me hooked, guys. I will say the main character, like, the way she was written, it was like an Americanized version of Sherlock Holmes or Enola Holmes, and it was almost like trying to be too much like that, trying to be too quirky in that way, but didn't quite like deliver, or I just didn't get the quirkiness maybe. Aside from that, like, I mean, the bird watching scenes, I kind of just skipped them because I was like, don't really care. The Residence is set in the White House. There there is like some celebration. The person who like manages the house staff, he gets murdered. This is not a spoiler, you find out from the get-go. He gets murdered and she's basically called in to solve the murder, and no one's allowed to leave the White House. It was really interesting. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the story. You kind of think there's a few different people, but I feel like the person who did do it, you kind of see it coming, but you also don't, if that makes sense. Anyway, no spoilers. Okay, so gaming. Firstly, I wanted to mention when I'm bored or when I don't want to read anything, or if I can't be bothered trying to find something to read, I will play Netflix stories. They just have me in a chokehold, man. It's really weird because I don't even watch the shows that I play on the Netflix Stories app, but I will play them. So like, for example, separate like marketing comments, like a good example of the way that Netflix multi-purposes their content. So they have their shows or their movies, and they've made games in their app, and you can play as characters, and it's just genius, to be honest, because I don't watch like Virgin River, for example, but I've played the game multiple times as different characters. I kind of go back to that when I don't really know what I want to be doing with my spare time, when I have like, when I just want to be like kind of brain, like just let my brain like chill a little bit. Also, Assassin's Creed Shadows came out. I am embarrassed to say that I did not realize it was coming out last month, and I was like kind of in a state of, oh, I have nothing to do. It was almost the weekend. I was like, I don't know what to do. I don't want to do nothing when the weather was shit and the kids were like busy doing their own thing, and I was just like, and I looked at what was for sale on the PlayStation store and was like, hold the fucking phone. I didn't know the new one was out. So yeah, I bought it, and I have basically played it every time I have more than like an hour or two free. So yeah, that's my life. I have been an Assassin's Creed gamer since the first one came out when I was a little teenager. So yeah, writing updates. Okay, let's see. So writing updates. I was really consistent for like 10 days, and this is not consistently 10 days, it's like every couple of days for 10 days at the start of the month, but then I got into a funk, and I only wrote like 4,000 and like a couple hundred words total, which was kind of depressing. Basically, since that point, I hadn't written like for the majority of March, and I came to the conclusion throughout March, because I was really like sad at myself, or like sad for not having like incentive or drive to write. I feel like there's like it's in relation to like my ADHD maybe. I wanted to write, but I couldn't force myself to do it, and so I came to the conclusion while like dwelling on it over and over, overthinking. Story of my life. The last session that I wrote was 216 words, and it was really hard. I had to force myself to get anything onto my computer, and then I just like ended up kind of finishing a little bit and being like, okay, that's probably enough, like I'm not going to get any further. And then I realized that because I had a shitty session, I didn't want to try again, because in my head I was like, oh, what if I have another shitty session and then another shitty session, and then it just makes me like not want to write at all. When I realized that that's the way that I was thinking in relation to writing, and that's why I wasn't writing again, that lifted like a weight of pressure off my shoulders, and I was like, hang on, I just had a shit session, and now I'm like not necessarily giving up, but it's kind of like I'm scared to go back and try again. Once I realized that the reason why I'd stopped writing was because I was scared to have another shitty session, it kind of helped me lose the fear of going back to write again. And I was suddenly inspired to write a fanfiction. So I didn't write any more words on my book, but I did write 3,000 words of a Loki and Darcy ship. And what started off as like a cute little scene of like them coming back together turned into like spice. So yeah, that's what happened. I did not add any more words to my book, but I did write 3,000 words on top of the 4,000. Something separate. So I'm just glad I can still write. I'm happy with that. On to the next thing. I have this section of creator costs. It's going to be the same for the majority of the time. I just would like to track anything that I spend on this hobby. Same thing as last month, $19 Canadian for my Canva Premium or Canva subscription. Canva Pro. Life update. I mean, life is life. It was my daughter's birthday over the spring break, so that was really nice. I took the day off. Me and my husband also went to the Banksy exhibit in Vancouver. I don't know when it stops, but it was surprisingly cool. I like Banksy's art, and my husband like loves Banksy, but I didn't really know the history behind his growth. And when we were there, I was hella nerding out at the timeline, making like connections between the way that he like did pop-ups and the way that he did community building, limited edition, like t-shirts and that sort of thing. Like the marketing side of me was like, ooh, that's a really clever idea. Like, he did this and that meant this, and you know what I mean? So anyway, let's get into goals. So I'm going to screen record this. Okie dokie. So I have this spreadsheet. I bought it off Etsy. I did a goals video earlier this year. So like I had an idea of the goals I want to do, but I noticed like, especially the last month or so, that I wasn't doing anything to actually track or guide my actions. I needed something to just kind of break the goals down so I could put them into like manageable steps, basically. So I found this one. It's very simple. This is the actual template that it comes with. There's like, you can have room for like 15 goals. I've copied this and done a page for 2025. I've added in all my goals. I have 7 that I will talk about on this channel. There's a couple that are just like personal, so I probably won't go into it. So basically, this is my 2025 goals properly written out. So obviously I've talked about wanting to be query ready by the end of the year. This is the goal here. This is my little inspo pick. I have categories here, and then we have a reward line, which personally I'm not really good at setting a reward for something. Got to work on that. My deadline for all of these are by the end of the year. Some of them I've started, some of them I haven't. So what I liked about this is that it goes through like very small, short questions for SMART goals. What do you want to achieve? Why is this goal important? And how do I measure success? And then you have a section for completing the steps. So I've already put in all the steps that I could think of at the moment for these goals. Some of them have less, some of them have the exact same every month. So I basically want to go through here, transfer certain steps from these goals and put them into my Q2 goal planner. And side note, so this is for the quarter, so this will be April to June goals, and then I'll just kind of work through that. So let's get started. So obviously I want to be query ready by the end of the year. The first step I need to reach this goal is complete my first draft. So I'm going to type up here. Oh my god, stop it. Of working title Daughter of Ruin. And then I can just copy the picture. Do UE category. 30 June. Oh my god, stop. Why? Oh, my bad. In progress, because I have started drafting. So yeah, in terms of steps, I probably need to schedule dedicated time to write. I'm probably going to talk to my husband about helping with accountability. Sometimes I just need someone to tell me what to do when I've asked them to tell me what to do, and then I will do it. I don't like being told what to do without me needing to be told what to do. That's just my ADHD brain. So that's about it. So yeah, I might talk to him about helping me with accountability towards this, and I think I'm not really going to do like a word count goal. I think total chapters I have. Let me find it. Oh, there you go. Sneak preview. Oh my god, this is so awkward. Okay. I think I have how many chapters? Okay, I've got like 29 chapters. Okay, so it's actually the 9th. I'm late in starting this. But I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 weeks. Let's do 12. 12 weeks to write 29 chapters. Where's my calculator? I hate maths. Let's make it easy and do 30. So say I'm aiming for 30 chapters a week. Not 30 chapters a week. 30. So I need to write 2.5 chapters a week. Write 2.5 chapters a week. Maybe figure out a mini reward for each week. And I mean mini reward by like literally being like, okay, let's go get a coffee on the weekend for incentive. And then I feel like that's enough. And I can just track those chapters on my little thing that I have not touched since I showed you last. Anyway, okay, next goal. Read 25 books. That's for the year. I have only read 2. I've written down here that I need to read 2 to 3 books every month to kind of reach that goal. So I'm going to put 6 to 9 by June. With this, I need to make a TBR. I don't know. I have a list on my Fable account, but I haven't looked at it. So maybe I just need to make a shortlist, TBR, / books I want to read. I didn't do the picture. Oh my god. Make a list, and then maybe I just need to like set down certain time. So what I think I'm going to do is add reading 1 chapter minimum every night before bed. And I found that that kind of got me into reading a little bit more, but also got me into like getting through books that I was struggling to get through. So I'm going to do that. Schedule reminder to read 1 chapter minimum every night before bed. Another incentive that I think will work is being able to talk about it on my channel. Do like a TBR list and do a wrap up. Do a TBR video to help incentivize. Okay, I don't even know. I don't know if that's spelled correctly, whatever. Okay, next goal is I need to read at least 10 books on my bookshelf. In terms of April to June, that's 3 to 6 books. So let's go. Read 3 to 6 books from my bookshelf. Oh my god, stop it. This is my bookshelf. So I'm going to copy that there. Let's do reading. 30 June. And this is in progress because I own these 2 books and they're on my list right now. Choose different genres each month. What am I trying to say? I think it's just the same. It would be the same as reading 6 to 9 books, except I need to make sure that I pick a variety. Make a separate pile or group of books I want to read and just add them to my monthly TBR lists. Next goal. Next one is post consistently on YouTube all year. We're just going to copy that. Plan recurring videos for the year. So I should plan recurring videos for April to June. So recurring videos, I mean in the sense of like the monthly updates or resets, like this video. Or I'm trying to think of other ones. Like I just did a spring publishing / marketing trends video, and I would expect to do one for the summer by the end of the month. So like kind of like scheduling in the ones that I don't have to think about the type of content I'm going to be doing, and then seeing if that fills in my number requirement, and then going from there and seeing what other things that I want to talk about. Because I know there's a couple of topics that I've mentioned before in other videos to do with like marketing that I want to film. So plan recurring videos for April, June. Check calendar for best times to film. It's also spring season for sports, and all 3 of our children are playing sports this season. Our weekends are very busy, so I need to figure out when would be best, or when will be best for filming. Make notes for each video, because I like some sort of like, especially with the marketing ones, like I like to have like some sort of structure. I know I'm still like looking at my screen when I do those, but I'd rather have it be helpful than really rambly. Especially for editing, Sarita. Yeah, I think that's all though for this. Like, I can add steps later, but I feel like this is enough. And then we have learn more about my neurodiversity. So we're going to copy this and put it here, including the picture that I found. So if you look at my yearly one, I had health. I want to learn more about ADHD and autism, strategies to help manage and live my life, because it's important to my mental wellness and happiness. And the way that I'll measure this is in the way that I cope with different situations that previously caused a lot of anxiety or depression. So at this stage, I just have visit a counselor regularly and read books about ADHD and autism. Visit counselor as booked. I've definitely got at least 3 appointments already booked all the way through to May. I think eventually we'll get to the point where I can reduce the frequency of them. Like, I've already seen such a big change since starting to see her since like the beginning of the year. And then the other thing is reading about ADHD or autism. I do have that ADHD book which I haven't finished, so I'm going to put in read the ADHD book I have. Let's move on for now. So on here I have learn how to ice skate. I've looked at classes. I'm going to wait until the summer when my kids are not in school / they're going on holiday for like quite a while. So I'm going to wait till then. I'll have a lot more free time, and then I can book classes in over the summer. So we're not starting that yet, although I probably want to book them. So actually we will add that. Lastly, we have increased weekly dopamine. I did talk about this in my goals video. I actually think I already know that I have low dopamine from my doctor saying that before, and just in terms of learning more about the connection between that and ADHD and like just the chemical makeup of your brain, right? It is definitely boosting dopamine, but I think also just happy hormones as well. I already do Pilates twice a week. I want to at least go for a walk, I think. So let's add go for a walk at least once a week. At least once a week. I think I need to figure out something like when I'm in the office, something to kind of like boost my mood, because I get to like a certain point in the early afternoon and I just get into a lull, and it's not like I can just leave and go home and work later, you know? So, or you know what it is? Maybe it's literally as simple as like going outside. Go outside for 10 minutes during the workday and just like being outside, because I know even that alone is enough to kind of help me like reset. If I can get into the habit of going for a walk, that would be great, and then I can look at doing other things. So I think I might leave it at that, and if I add anything else for these months, then I will add that here. But yeah, so I feel like this is doable. It helps for me to have it broken down into entire yearly goals, but then break down those into even smaller ones. I think for sure this is the most difficult one, or most challenging. This will be the most challenging goal, followed by my reading goal. Then the YouTube one, it's fun for me, so I don't feel like I will be struggling with wanting to do that. So yeah, those are my goals for this quarter. I might do like monthly updates on this, unsure yet. I hope you enjoyed it. What are your goals for the month? What have you been, if you're a reader or a writer, what have you been reading? What have you been writing? Just let me know your own little updates down below. Anywho, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.